Emma Harris was a young woman who worked as a waitress in a beautiful, expensive hotel in a busy city. She was only 24 years old, but life had not been very easy for her. She had grown up in a small town where opportunities were limited, and money was always tight. Her family was not rich, and after her father passed away when she was a teenager, things became even harder for her and her mother. Emma had to learn to be strong and independent at a young age. From the outside, Emma looked like an ordinary waitress doing her job. She wore the hotel uniform every day, a neat black dress with a white apron, and a polite smile that she gave to every guest she served. She was quick and careful, making sure to remember orders and bring drinks and food exactly as the customers wanted. The hotel was famous for its luxury parties and important events, and Emma worked long hours helping with these gatherings. The guests at the hotel were usually rich and famous people, dressed in expensive clothes and talking about their important business deals. Emma watched them quietly, sometimes feeling like she was living in a different world. What nobody knew was that Emma had a secret. Before her life had taken a difficult turn, she had dreamed of becoming a pianist. When she was a child, she spent hours every day practicing on the piano at her school, and later at a small music center in her town. She was very talented. Her teachers told her she had a special gift and could become a professional musician if she worked hard. Emma loved playing the piano. It made her happy and helped her forget about the problems in her life for a while. The music was like a friend that understood her feelings and gave her hope. But after her father died, Emma's family needed money badly. She had to give up music lessons because they were too expensive. Instead of going to college or music school, she started working at the hotel to help support her mother and younger brother. Every day she put on her waitress uniform and served wealthy guests, dreaming quietly about the piano. She never told anyone at work about her talent because she was afraid. Afraid that people might not believe her, or worse, that she would be judged for being just a waitress with big dreams. So she kept her music locked away inside her heart. Even though Emma was far from the concert halls she once dreamed about, she never lost her love for music. Sometimes after her long shifts, she would sit by herself in the hotel's quiet lounge and hum the melodies she remembered. At home, she had a small keyboard that her mother had bought for her years ago. It was not a grand piano, but it was enough for Emma to practice quietly when she could. Music gave her peace and strength, especially when life felt heavy. It was her secret world where she could be free. At the hotel, Emma worked hard every day. She smiled through the stress, carried heavy trays, and listened carefully to the guests' orders. She knew the hotel had many important events where famous musicians were hired to play. The guests expected the best entertainment, and Emma admired these musicians from afar. She watched as the piano players sat gracefully at the grand piano in the hotel's ballroom, filling the room with beautiful music. She wished she could play like them again, but she kept quiet. Emma's co-workers liked her because she was kind and dependable. She never complained, even when the job was tiring or the guests were difficult. But no one guessed the story behind her quiet eyes or the talent she hid inside. She didn't talk much about her past or her dreams. To everyone, she was just a hard-working waitress doing her best to get through each day. Despite the challenges, Emma had a strong spirit. She was determined to take care of her family and survive in the city. She believed that one day, something good would happen for her. She didn't know exactly what, but she held on to hope. Music was her light in the dark, a reminder that she was more than just a waitress. Deep down, she wished for a chance to prove herself and show the world what she could do. In her small moments of solitude, Emma would sometimes think back to her childhood. She remembered the first time she touched the piano keys, the smooth, cool feeling under her fingers, and the joy of creating sounds that told stories. She remembered her music teacher's encouraging smile and the applause she received at small recitals. Those memories gave her courage to keep going, even when life was hard. Emma's life was a mix of routine and dreams. She woke up early every morning, got ready for work, and faced another busy day at the hotel. She cleaned tables, served food, and watched the luxury events unfold. But inside, she kept a secret world of music and hope. She never lost her passion, even when it felt like her dream was too far away. Sometimes, late at night, Emma would imagine sitting at a grand piano again, playing a beautiful melody that made people stop and listen. She dreamed of applause and bright lights, not for herself, but for the music she loved. It was a dream she held close, a part of her that refused to fade. Although Emma seemed quiet and ordinary to others, inside she was waiting for the right moment to let her talent shine. She knew that life could surprise her, and maybe, just maybe, one day she would have the chance to play the piano in front of a real audience again. Until then, she would keep working hard, keeping her music alive in her heart. This was Emma Harris, the waitress with a hidden gift, a young woman with a big dream quietly waiting for her moment to be seen and heard. That evening was different from all the others. The hotel's grand ballroom was shining bright with sparkling chandeliers, elegant decorations, and the hum of excited guests chatting in their finest clothes. The air smelled of expensive perfumes and delicious food, and the soft clinking of glasses mixed with laughter and music. Emma was working as usual, moving quickly from table to table, serving drinks and plates filled with fancy dishes. She was tired, but she smiled politely, as always, doing her job without complaint. This was one of the biggest events of the season, a corporate gala where important business people gathered to celebrate their success and make new connections. The hotel had hired a famous pianist to play beautiful music during dinner. Emma had watched this pianist several times before, admiring how smoothly his fingers danced on the keys and how the crowd seemed to fall silent, listening to every note. Tonight, however, something unexpected happened. Just before the music was about to begin, the pianist suddenly received a phone call and left the room quickly. Emma overheard a few staff members talking nervously. He had an emergency and could not play. The event coordinator, a strict and stressed woman named Ms. Wilson, was pacing back and forth, clearly worried. She needed to find someone to play the piano right away, or the event would lose its magic. Emma stood nearby, carrying a tray of drinks, listening carefully to the panic around her. She felt her heart beating fast. This was the moment she had dreamed about for so long, but she had never thought it would come like this. She wanted to speak up, but at the same time she was afraid. What if they laughed at her? What if she failed in front of all these important people? But deep inside, the music called her. Gathering her courage, Emma walked up to Ms. Wilson and quietly said, "I can play. I used to play the piano. Maybe I can help." Ms. Wilson looked at her in surprise. "You? But you're a waitress, Emma. Are you sure? This is a very important event." Emma nodded. "I'm sure. I just want to try." There was no time to argue. The pianist was gone, and the guests were waiting. Ms. Wilson sighed and said, "All right, but just keep it simple. We don't want any mistakes." Emma's hands trembled slightly, but she smiled and walked toward the grand piano in the corner of the ballroom. As she sat down, she felt the smooth, shiny surface of the keys beneath her fingers. Memories flooded back, the countless hours she had spent practicing, the melodies she had learned and loved. She took a deep breath, closed her eyes for a moment, and began to play. At first, the sound was soft and gentle, like a whisper. The guests, busy talking and eating, didn't notice immediately. But as Emma's confidence grew, the music became richer and more beautiful. Her fingers moved smoothly, playing songs she knew by heart. The melody filled the room with warmth and emotion. People started to turn their heads, listening more carefully. One by one, the conversation slowed down. The clinking of glasses stopped. Guests stopped eating and drinking, captivated by the unexpected music. The hotel staff paused their work to listen, some holding trays, others wiping tables. The sound was so pure and moving that it touched everyone's hearts. Emma didn't look at the crowd. She lost herself in the music, letting it flow from her soul through her fingers. The melody told a story of hope, loss, and dreams. Her own story. The guests were amazed. How could such beautiful music come from someone they had only seen serving drinks just minutes before? Some people took out their phones and started recording the performance quietly, whispering to each other in surprise. "Is she really a waitress?" one guest asked softly. "She plays like a professional musician," said another. Even some musicians in the crowd recognized the skill and talent in her playing. The event, which was supposed to be just a formal dinner with background music, had turned into an unforgettable concert. Emma's music created a magical moment that no one would forget. The atmosphere changed from polite and formal to warm and emotional. People smiled and looked at each other with admiration, feeling lucky to be there. Ms. Wilson, the event coordinator, was watching from the side, amazed and proud. She had doubted Emma at first, but now she realized that this quiet waitress had saved the night. When the last note faded away, the room was silent for a moment. Then applause erupted. Some guests stood up to clap, and others wiped tears from their eyes. Emma finally looked up, surprised by the reaction. A shy smile appeared on her face as she bowed lightly. After the performance, many guests came over to compliment her. They wanted to know more about the woman who could play the piano so beautifully. Emma felt a mix of happiness and nervousness. She was overwhelmed but also grateful for this chance to share her music. For the first time in years, she felt like the person she had always wanted to be. Backstage, Emma's co-workers gathered around her, amazed and proud. They had known her as a hardworking waitress, but now they saw a new side of her, a talented artist with a gift that touched people's hearts. Emma's story quickly spread among the hotel staff, and everyone began to look at her with respect and admiration. The video recordings from the event started to appear on social media the next day. People were amazed by the story of the waitress who saved a luxury event with her music. Comments poured in, praising her courage and talent. Many shared the video, and it quickly went viral. Emma's life was changing in ways she had never imagined. Despite the sudden attention, Emma remained humble. She knew that this was only the beginning of something new, but she also understood that she had a lot to learn and work on. She was grateful for the chance to play in front of a real audience again, and she promised herself to keep practicing and improving. That night marked a turning point in Emma's life. The shy waitress who had hidden her talent for so long had finally stepped into the light. Her music had connected with people from all walks of life, breaking barriers and surprising everyone. Emma's story showed that sometimes hidden talents wait quietly for the right moment to shine. As she walked home that night, Emma felt a new sense of hope and excitement. The world had heard her music, and for the first time she believed that her dream could become a reality again. She was ready to face the future with courage and determination, knowing that her piano was not just an instrument, but a bridge to a better life. This was the moment when Emma's secret gift was discovered, not by a music judge or a famous talent scout, but by a group of strangers at a luxury event. It was a moment that would change everything, not just for Emma, but for everyone who heard her play and believed in the power of hidden dreams. The moment Emma's fingers touched the piano keys in that grand ballroom, something magical began to happen. The room, which was filled with people chatting, laughing, and enjoying their luxurious dinner, started to change. The soft sounds she played first were like a gentle invitation, pulling everyone's attention slowly toward the music. It was as if the noise in the room began to fade away, and a special kind of silence grew. The kind of silence that is filled with awe and wonder. As Emma's confidence grew with every note, her music became more than just background sound. It became the heart of the room. Her fingers moved gracefully, telling a story without words. Every chord she played seemed to carry feelings of hope, sadness, joy, and dreams waiting to be fulfilled. The guests, many of whom had been busy talking about business deals and fancy parties, suddenly stopped. They leaned in, their eyes softening and their faces relaxing. The energy in the room shifted from one of casual celebration to something deeply moving. Emma was not just playing the piano, she was pouring out years of hidden emotions. Music had always been her secret language, a way to express what words could not. Now, in this unexpected moment, the world was listening. It was as if the piano itself had become a bridge, connecting her quiet life as a waitress to the glittering lives of the people around her. People who were eating froze mid-bite. Servers stopped moving, their trays held carefully in one hand as they turned to listen. Some guests reached for their phones, not to talk, but to capture the moment, a once-in-a-lifetime surprise. They whispered to each other in disbelief. "She's amazing," one said quietly. "How does a waitress play like this?" said another. Among the crowd were professional musicians and music lovers. They recognized the level of skill Emma had. Her playing was flawless, her timing perfect. But more than that, there was something rare and special in the way she expressed herself through music. A deep soulfulness that only comes from living a real story. As Emma played, she felt a calm wash over her. The nervousness and fear that had gripped her when she first sat down began to melt away. She was no longer just a waitress or a woman afraid to show her talent. She was an artist, a storyteller, a person sharing a piece of her soul with the world. The guests at the event had come expecting simple background music, something soft and pleasant. Instead, they received a powerful and unforgettable concert. The whole room was captivated, as if they had been given a private performance that only they were lucky enough to hear. The atmosphere became almost magical. People looked at each other with smiles and tears in their eyes. They felt moved, inspired, and connected by the beauty of Emma's music. The event coordinator, Ms. Wilson, watched from the side with a mixture of amazement and pride. She had been worried moments before, fearing that the event would fail without a proper pianist. Now she realized that Emma's music was not just good. It was the highlight of the night. She quietly admitted to herself that she had judged Emma too quickly. The waitress who had seemed shy and quiet was now the shining star of the ballroom. As Emma finished her performance, the room was silent for a heartbeat. Then applause erupted. It started softly but quickly grew louder, filling the space with cheers and clapping. Some guests stood up, showing their deep appreciation. Others wiped tears from their eyes, overwhelmed by the emotional power of the music. Emma looked up from the piano, surprised by the applause. She felt shy and a little overwhelmed, but also happy. For the first time in a long while, she felt seen and appreciated. The crowd was not just applauding her music, they were applauding her courage and her hidden talent. After the applause, many guests came to congratulate her. They wanted to know who she was and how she had learned to play so beautifully. Emma felt a wave of emotions, excitement, nervousness, and gratitude. She told them a little about her past, about how she had stopped playing the piano to support her family, but had never given up on her dream. Her story touched many people. They admired her for her humility and strength. It was rare to meet someone who had worked so hard, kept their passion alive in secret, and then stepped forward at just the right moment. Emma's courage inspired others to believe in themselves and their dreams, no matter how difficult life might be. As the night went on, Emma continued to play more songs. Each piece told a different story. Some were joyful, others tender and sad. The guests listened in rapt attention, and the mood of the event shifted completely. What had started as a formal gala became a celebration of human spirit and hidden talents. Backstage, Emma's co-workers gathered around her. They were amazed and proud. They had always known her as a quiet, hard-working waitress, but now they saw her in a new light. She was not just someone who served drinks and cleaned tables. She was an artist with a gift that had touched many hearts. That evening, the news of Emma's surprise performance quickly spread throughout the hotel staff. People talked about her with respect and admiration. Some even said she should consider pursuing music seriously again. Emma smiled quietly, feeling both happy and overwhelmed by the support. The next day, videos of Emma playing the piano began appearing on social media. People shared the story of the waitress who had saved a luxury event with her talent. The video quickly went viral, reaching thousands of people who were inspired by her courage and skill. Comments poured in from all over the world, praising Emma's performance and her humble spirit. Emma was shocked by the attention but tried to stay grounded. She knew that this moment was special, but she also understood that there was a long road ahead. She promised herself to keep practicing, to improve her skills, and to be ready for whatever opportunities might come her way. The hotel management recognized Emma's talent and offered her a chance to play more often during events. They wanted to support her and show their guests a new star. Emma was grateful but also nervous. She still felt like a waitress in a world of professional musicians. But she was ready to take one step at a time, knowing that every great journey begins with a single note. That night, after the gala ended and the guests had left, Emma sat alone at the piano. She played softly, thinking about how much her life had changed in just a few hours. She remembered the long years of waiting and dreaming. She thought about the moment she decided to speak up and take a chance. And she felt proud of herself for believing in her talent, even when no one else did. Emma knew that her story was not just about music. It was about courage, hope, and the power of dreams. It was about the quiet strength inside every person who faces hardship but refuses to give up. And it was about the moment when hidden talents shine brightest, when the world least expects it. From that night forward, Emma's life was different. She still worked as a waitress, but now she was also a pianist, a performer, and an inspiration. People looked at her with new respect and admiration. She had become proof that dreams can come true in the most unexpected ways. Emma's story traveled far beyond the hotel's walls. It reached people who had forgotten to believe in themselves. It reminded them that inside every ordinary person, there might be an extraordinary gift waiting to be discovered. And it showed that sometimes all it takes is one moment of courage to change everything. Her music continued to touch hearts, and her journey from a quiet waitress to a shining star became a symbol of hope. Emma's life was a beautiful reminder that talent and dreams can be hidden in the most unlikely places, and that when given a chance, they can light up the world. After that unforgettable night at the gala, Emma's life began to change in ways she had never imagined. The video of her playing piano at the luxury event had gone viral on social media, spreading across the internet like wildfire. People from all over the world were watching, sharing, and talking about the waitress who had amazed everyone with her talent. For Emma, this was both exciting and overwhelming. Suddenly, she was not just the quiet waitress anymore. She was becoming a symbol of hope and talent. At work, everything was different. Guests who had seen her performance at the event came to the hotel specifically to hear her play. Some were regulars who returned again and again, asking to sit near the piano just to enjoy her music. Others were strangers who had heard about the waitress pianist and wanted to experience her talent in person. Emma's co-workers were proud of her and began calling her Emma the pianist, smiling whenever they saw her. Even the hotel management started to recognize her value. They offered her more opportunities to perform during events, giving her time off from waitressing so she could practice and prepare. This was something Emma had only dreamed about before, but now it was happening in real life. She was given a small stage in the hotel's lounge area where she could play for guests. On weekends and special occasions, it wasn't a big concert hall, but it was a start, a place where she could build her confidence and share her music regularly. At first, Emma felt nervous playing in front of guests again. Even though she had performed beautifully at the gala, this was a new kind of pressure. She wanted to do well and live up to the expectations people had after seeing her video. But as time passed, she grew more comfortable. She learned to enjoy the music and the smiles she received from the audience. Playing piano was no longer a secret or a dream hidden inside her. It was becoming part of her everyday life. Outside of work, Emma began receiving messages and invitations from people who wanted to support her journey. Some were music teachers offering free lessons to help her improve. Others were event organizers asking if she would play at their parties or charity events. Emma was amazed at how far her story had reached. She was being offered chances to play in places she never thought possible. One day, Emma received an email from a well-known music producer who had seen her video online. He wanted to meet her and talk about recording music professionally. Emma could hardly believe it. She had spent years working as a waitress, never thinking she would be discovered by someone important in the music industry. The meeting was nerve-wracking, but exciting. The producer listened to her play and told her she had a unique talent and a beautiful story. He wanted to help her make an album and introduce her music to a wider audience. Emma felt both happy and scared. This was the opportunity she had been waiting for. But it also meant stepping out of her comfort zone and facing a whole new world of challenges. She wasn't sure if she was ready, but she knew she had to try. With the support of her family and friends, she decided to take the chance. At the same time, Emma's life at home was changing too. Her mother and younger brother were proud of her success. They had always believed in her, even when things were difficult. Emma's mother encouraged her to follow her dreams and reminded her how far she had come. The family's small apartment was filled with happiness and hope. They talked about the future and the new possibilities opening up for Emma. Despite all the excitement, Emma never forgot the struggles she had faced. She remembered the long hours working as a waitress, the days when she felt tired and hopeless, and the moments when she thought her dream was impossible. These memories made her stronger and more determined. She wanted to inspire others who might be facing similar challenges. She knew that success was not just about talent, but about courage, hard work, and never giving up. As Emma started working on her music professionally, she faced many new experiences. Recording in a studio was different from playing at the hotel, piano. It required patience and practice. Sometimes she felt frustrated when things didn't sound perfect, but she kept going. Her producer and music teachers helped her improve her skills and find her unique style. They encouraged her to be herself and tell her story through her music. Emma also learned how to perform on bigger stages. She played at concerts, charity events, and local festivals. Each performance was a new adventure, with new people to meet and new places to discover. Sometimes she was nervous, but the joy of playing music and seeing people's reactions made it all worth it. She began to believe in herself more and more. One of the most memorable moments was when Emma was invited to play at a citywide music festival. Thousands of people came to listen, and the stage was much bigger than anything she had played on before. Emma felt a mix of excitement and fear, but when she sat at the piano and started to play, all her worries disappeared. The music flowed naturally, and the crowd responded with cheers and applause. It was a dream come true, a moment she would remember forever. Through all these experiences, Emma stayed humble and grateful. She never forgot where she came from or the people who helped her along the way. She made sure to give back whenever she could, performing at charity events and supporting other young musicians who were just starting out. Emma became not only a talented pianist but also a role model for many. Her story was featured in local newspapers and on television. Interviews and articles shared her journey from waitress to pianist, inspiring people everywhere. Emma's message was clear. No matter your background or how hard life may seem, you can achieve your dreams if you believe in yourself and work hard. Emma also used social media to connect with her fans and supporters. She shared videos of her performances, talked about her practice routines, and encouraged others to follow their passions. Her followers grew every day, and she became a beloved figure online. People sent her messages of support and thanks, telling her how her music and story had touched their lives. Despite the growing fame, Emma remained grounded. She continued working part-time at the hotel to stay connected with her roots and the people who had supported her from the beginning. She enjoyed the balance between her music career and her everyday life. Emma believed that staying true to herself was the key to her happiness. Emma's family continued to be her biggest supporters. Her mother often attended her performances, beaming with pride. Her younger brother, inspired by Emma's success, started learning to play the guitar. The family's bond grew stronger as they shared their dreams and celebrated their achievements together. Emma's journey was not without challenges. She faced moments of doubt and exhaustion. The music industry was competitive, and sometimes she encountered people who didn't take her seriously because of her background. But Emma learned to stay focused and keep pushing forward. She remembered the nights when she played piano alone, dreaming of this very moment. Through all the ups and downs, Emma's love for music never faded. It was the reason she kept going. Every time she sat at the piano, she felt a deep connection to her past and her future. Music was her way of expressing everything she felt inside and sharing it with the world. One day, Emma received an invitation to perform on a popular television show. This was a huge opportunity to reach an even wider audience. Emma prepared carefully, practicing day and night. When the day came, she stepped onto the stage with confidence. As she played, millions of viewers watched from their homes, moved by her talent and story. The television performance was a turning point. Emma's popularity soared, and offers for concerts and collaborations poured in. She was no longer just a waitress who played piano. She was a professional artist, respected and loved by many. Emma's dream was becoming reality, but she knew that this was just the beginning. She planned to continue learning, growing, and sharing her music. She wanted to inspire others to never give up on their dreams, no matter how difficult life may be. Looking back, Emma realized how far she had come. From a small-town girl with a hidden talent to a pianist playing on big stages, her journey was proof that dreams do come true. It was a story of courage, hope, and the power of believing in yourself. Emma Harris was no longer just a waitress. She was a musician, an inspiration, and a living example that sometimes the most amazing stories come from the most unexpected places. Emma's life had changed in ways she never dreamed possible. From the shy waitress who hesitated to speak up, she had become a talented pianist recognized by many. Her music was no longer a secret. It touched people's hearts everywhere she played. But even with all this success, Emma remained humble and true to herself. She knew this was not the end of her journey, but a new beginning. As Emma's career grew, she started traveling to new cities to perform. Each place she visited brought new experiences and challenges. She played in theaters, concert halls, and even outdoor festivals. The audiences were bigger and more diverse than before. Some were fans who had followed her journey from the start, and others were new listeners hearing her music for the first time. No matter where she went, Emma played with the same passion and emotion that had first won people over at that luxury event. Traveling was exciting, but also tiring. Emma learned to balance her life on the road with her need to rest and practice. Sometimes she missed her family and the small apartment where she had grown up. But she was determined to keep moving forward. Every concert was a chance to share her story, and she wanted to reach as many people as possible. During this time, Emma also began writing her own music. Before, she had mostly played pieces written by others. Now, inspired by her journey, she wanted to create songs that told her own story. Writing music was a new challenge, but Emma loved it. She spent hours at the piano experimenting with melodies and lyrics. Sometimes the words came easily, and other times she struggled to find the right way to express her feelings. Her first original song was about hope and believing in oneself. It told the story of a young woman who faced many hardships, but never gave up. Emma poured all her emotions into the song, and when she played it for the first time at a concert, the audience was deeply moved. Many said it was the most beautiful piece they had ever heard. This song became a symbol of Emma's journey and inspired many others to follow their dreams. Emma's music career brought her many opportunities. She was invited to collaborate with other artists and perform on television shows and radio programs. Each new experience helped her grow as a musician and as a person. Emma learned how to work with producers, sound engineers, and other musicians. She discovered that creating music was not just about talent, but also about teamwork and communication. Despite her busy schedule, Emma always made time for her family and friends. They remained her strongest support system. Her mother and brother traveled with her whenever they could, attending concerts and cheering her on. Emma's friends from her hometown sent her messages of encouragement, reminding her that they believed in her no matter what. Emma also used her success to help others. She started organizing free music lessons for children in her community. She wanted to give back and provide opportunities for young people who might not have access to music education. Emma knew firsthand how important it was to have someone believe in you and give you a chance. Her charity work became another important part of her life. Emma performed at benefit concerts to raise money for causes she cared about, such as supporting families in need and providing instruments to schools. She was proud to use her music to make a positive difference in the world. As Emma's fame grew, she faced new challenges too. The pressure to perform well all the time could be overwhelming. Sometimes she felt exhausted and doubted herself. There were moments when she missed the simple life she had before all the attention. But Emma learned to manage stress by practicing meditation and spending quiet time with her family. She also had to deal with people who doubted her or tried to bring her down. Some critics said she was lucky rather than talented. Others questioned her background or tried to label her unfairly. Emma refused to let negativity stop her. She knew her worth and believed in her music. She focused on the positive feedback and the people who loved her work. Emma's journey taught her many lessons about life and success. She realized that talent alone was not enough. It was important to be kind, patient, and hardworking. She learned to appreciate every small victory and to keep dreaming no matter how hard things seemed. One of Emma's proudest moments came when she released her first full album. The album included songs she had written herself and covers of classic pieces she loved. It was a reflection of her journey, the struggles, the hope, and the joy she found in music. Fans around the world listened and shared the album, and it received praise from critics and musicians alike. The success of the album opened new doors. Emma was invited to perform at international music festivals and award ceremonies. She met many famous artists and formed friendships with musicians who inspired her. These experiences enriched her life and gave her a deeper understanding of the music world. Throughout it all, Emma stayed connected to her roots. She never forgot the nights she spent playing piano alone, dreaming of this life. She continued to work part-time at the hotel where it all began, enjoying the familiar faces and the simple joy of serving guests. This balance helped her stay grounded and true to herself. Emma's story became a symbol of hope for many people. She often spoke at schools, community centers, and events, sharing her experience and encouraging others to follow their passions. She told young people that no matter where you come from or what obstacles you face, your dreams are worth chasing. Her message was clear: believe in yourself, work hard, and never give up. Emma's life showed that success is possible with courage and determination. She wanted everyone to know that their story could change the world. As Emma looked back on her journey, she felt proud and grateful. From a waitress playing piano in secret to a celebrated musician inspiring thousands, her life was proof that dreams can come true. She knew there would be more challenges ahead, but she was ready. Emma Harris had become more than a pianist. She was a beacon of hope, a voice for those who felt invisible, and a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary talents are found in the most unexpected places. And with every note she played, Emma continued to write new chapters in her incredible story. A story of passion, resilience, and the power of believing in yourself.